The race is on now for Arkansas's 2nd District Congressional seat. Republican incumbent French Hill will take on Democratic challenger Clarke Tucker. We sat down with French Hill last week. Well, today his opponent, State Representative Clarke Tucker, is here live to talk to us in the studio about his campaign. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Well, it's been now just over a week since you won, and already we've seen some attacks from the Republican side coming your way, including Congressman French Hill. We want to play something, so listen to this.
Okay.
My opponent was handpicked by Nancy Pelosi, and so that's the race. That's why I think Nancy Pelosi is part of the issue before us.
This is something you addressed in your victory speech last week, that you expect to see a lot more of this from national politicians.
Right.
How does your campaign plan to counter that?
Well, I think what you spend your time talking about is a reflection of your priorities. And they're spending a lot of time talking about Nancy Pelosi. I'm spending a lot of time talking about the people of Central Arkansas that we hope to represent in Congress: health care, the economy, education, the issues that really affect us on a daily basis. You know, I said from the beginning, from the day I got in the campaign, that I was frustrated with the leadership in both parties. That's Paul Ryan and Nancy Pelosi. And I really see this as an old-style tactic that Congressman Hill and frankly, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and all these guys use, which is just to point your finger at the other side and try to have a winner and loser. And I feel like the real losers in that process are the people of Arkansas and the United States. And I think we're all ready for a return to the politics where you actually focus on the people that you hope to represent, where you're willing to sit down with people on the other side to get something done.
And as far as specific names, you mentioned one of them, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, and you've indicated you wouldn't support her if you win this race and Democrats take the House. So what do you want to see in leadership in the Democratic Party? What are some ideas that you'd like to see?
Well, I think just as a governing philosophy, as I just mentioned, I think a willingness to sit down with folks on the other side of the aisle to get something done. In the state legislature, that's really what I tried to do, because I think you can actually learn something from someone who has a different perspective than you. And if you sit down and figure out the goals that you have in common and how to get there in a collaborative way, that you actually can have a long-lasting, long-term impact on the people. And as I mentioned, health care, better paying jobs for the people of Central Arkansas, making sure we have a better education system from pre-K all the way through higher education and alternative career pathways. If we sit down and focus on those issues in a collaborative way, I think we can have a real impact on the people in this country.
And also, I want to talk about the GOP tax plan, because you've criticized it before. The Republicans say that this is going to be a big benefit for people here in the 2nd District. A lot of Democrats have said this is going to be a windfall for the wealthy and the corporations. So you've had some good and bad things to say about the law, pointed out maybe there might be some benefits outweighed by rising health care costs. So what is your message to people who maybe want to see more money in their pockets here in Arkansas?
Well, first of all, I support the portions of the tax bill that actually went to benefit working-class Arkansans, and that included the increase in child tax credit. And I supported similar tax cuts in the state legislature. The two main differences between the tax cuts I supported and the federal tax bill are, number one, I supported tax cuts that are permanent, and the federal tax benefits that go to working people have an expiration date on them. And then secondly, the tax cuts that I supported were part of a balanced budget. And this really is not. You really only see them talking about the portions of the bill that benefit working people. But I think the people of Arkansas see through that for what it is. That was a small portion of the bill, and by and large the bill was a huge handout to America's largest corporations, and that it's going to explode the deficit. It's up to a $1.5 trillion per year within a decade, and regardless of the benefits to people like me, that's like imposing a tax on our kids. And I just think that's fundamentally wrong. We need to do a better job of balancing the budget and taking better care of people now and into the future.
All right, Clarke Tucker, thanks for joining us. We look forward to hearing more from you on the campaign trail here in the coming months.
Ashley.
We'll be right back.